Hello, everyone. This is Jay High from Couch and Keyboard, and I wanted to do another quarterly ranking. This time going back to Rivals 2. It's been a little bit, but I think this past season was pretty crazy. It's like really close. Like I think there's been quite a few events, and there's a lot of people that are taking sets off each other. It's really exciting. So these are kind of the main events. There's a couple on here, or a couple not on here that were like much smaller, but these are like the main ones that I noticed. Afterburner had a few top players, not super big. Sunset Melee in I think this was in Tri-State. It's somewhere in the Northeast, and even though it's named for Melee, it had a decent Rivals 2 bracket. Let's Make Big Moves is usually the first big one of the year. This one didn't disappoint. It was fairly stacked. Frosty Faustings, um, traditionally a more FGC event, had a surprisingly cool Rivals event. It was pretty big, not the most top heavy, but it was pretty notable. And of course, Genesis X3 was probably the biggest event of the year, most stacked, and with some very surprising results. Hitfall, not very top heavy either, but shout out to NDVA, my home region, and was actually pretty interesting in terms of some of the results. A little bit lower key, but was still cool. And Super Fusion, the most recent one, not as big as the other two ones in bold, but still pretty stacked and pretty interesting results. So yeah. Now my C tier, don't put too much thought into this. There's a lot of players that are like solid, and it's hard to differentiate. We have some people that are usually near the top, like Elkies, Switch, Ion. Uh, I've had Toothbrush up there at one point. Zeus the Goose. Uh, yeah, some people have like one solid win here and there. I think Animal had a pretty good win, but which wasn't consistent. Dia from Europe, I think Germany, uh, did solidly. Boyko doesn't enter very much. Did better at previous tournaments. Lucius is really inconsistent, but still enters a bunch. Salt had a pretty good run at Genesis. MDVA players like Cora, Searing Arrow, Hyperflame. Uh, yeah, I think it was pretty cool. Yoda Cage also, I think, was a little disappointed in some ways, but still had a pretty good season overall. Yeah, there's a lot of good players that it's hard to keep up with, but here's a bunch of them. Props to entering and doing solidly. I wouldn't be surprised if a few of these players were to go up a tier next quarter, but for now, I have them here. Now, after this is about probably like the top 14, I think is what it ended up being. Um, these three players did pretty solidly, but I wouldn't say did quite good enough. B tier sounds bad, but like top 14 is sound like 12 through 14 is kind of what I have them at. Mystery Soul been playing more Galvan and has been doing pretty interestingly. Not quite as good as some other seasons, but got a Stango win, a bunch of Saw Step wins. Did pretty good in region as well. I think was it Western Washington, kind of like the Vancouver area. So nothing too crazy outside of that Stango win, but solid. Got ninth at Genesis, so pretty good. Also got ninth at Genesis. Kaib, I hadn't really heard of them. I think I had them on the list at like C tier at one point, but also got ninth at Genesis. Beat Stango in full stream and Cora as well. Um, yeah, did pretty good. Uh, one of the one of the better fleets right now, and Human Lime, I would say didn't quite get a high level win compared to these two beating Stango, but did win Hitfall, beating Elki's Hyperflame, Yoda Cage, Lucius, Cora, Saul across those events. I think was Tri-State. I think this was pretty good. I think winning an event like that is it's not gonna get you to be top five, top 10. Uh, but like Elkies was going Reina and wasn't doing amazingly, but Human Lime still also won Rivals one of the event, so that was pretty impressive to win both the same one. And yeah, I think that's like you could say Human Loss probably 14, Mystery Soul Kai probably 12, 13. But still, good stuff winning Hitfall. I think that's definitely worth mentioning. And yeah. Now my next tier is you could maybe separate this one into tiers again. I could see some players going up or down. But I think this is pretty interesting in terms of what we've seen. So Stango, we know, is very capable of being potentially the best in the world. Didn't do that great. Had a Rongunshu win, which is very good, but not the best Genesis. Fifth at Let's Make Big Moves. Uh, Ninth at Super Fusion. Or let me see. No, read that wrong. Fifth at Let's Make Big Moves. 17th at Genesis were the main ones. I read the wrong column. Um, like that's okay. I don't want to think that like okay, going to a major and doing poorly is better than not going at all. Like it's still fine. But yeah, I think that's only getting a Rangunshu win. It's good, but it definitely we expect more from Stango, and I'm sure he'll do better. But yeah, just right now I have him around 11. Jupiter, I don't know what to make of Jupiter. Fourth at Super Fusion, beating Cake Assault. You don't beat Cake Assault like that doesn't happen very often. Also, a few other wins like Yoda Cage, Lunar, Shadowhawk, Kezup. Losing to Cake and B-Bats. Cake in the run back and was it B-Bats in winter semis, I think. You could say that Jupiter's too high here and that one win is elevating them too high. But I mean, when you only look at a quarter, getting a Cake win, I think is it can carry you. Like that's good. Um, ZB, I had lower at first, but I think I kind of boosted up a little bit because looking at the losses, only lost to B-Bats, Beastly, Ant, and Rangunshu. Like those are not bad losses at all. And then beat Sandstorm and Sofilo and Kaib. Uh, Very good. I think that while some of those players didn't have as strong seasons as we've seen, that's still very solid. Got ninth at Let's Make Big Moves, fifth at Genesis. That's good. So I think ZB, around top 10 area. Now, the next one I did not expect. Godly had a crazy quarter. One Frosty Faustings. I think that I don't know if Godly beat Yoda Cage. Yeah, I think beat Yoda Cage. And then FPZ and Godly had a pretty crazy grand finals. They're winners in grands. And while FPZ didn't really get that many good wins, Godly did get the event win and also beat Rangunshu at a smaller event. It wasn't really that big at all, so I don't want to put a ton of weight on it. But I mean, beating Rangunshu twice is pretty crazy. Did lose to Frosty at Frosty Fausting. It's kind of funny. Just some random 11 seed Crag I didn't really know of very well. I don't think they're that bad. I think I had them on C tier. So, like, yeah, that's not the best loss ever, but to run it all the way back and then getting that event win and then also beating Rangunshu twice, that's really good. Like, that's really impressive. One of the only Ranos to still really be, in that top echelon. So, good stuff. I think that seeing Godly at a bigger event would be pretty interesting. Seeing how they do. So I'm curious to see how they do. Sandstorm, definitely a very capable player. Probably the Brawlhalla GOAT, or at least in that conversation. Really good ultimate player as well. Did pretty solidly at some of these events. Fifth at Let's Make Big Moves, seventh at Genesis, ninth at Super Fusion. That last one, kind of a weakness. But still did fine. Beat B-Bats, Elkies, Mystery Soul, Toothbrush, Switch. That's pretty good. Did trade sets with Animal. That's not amazing, but besides that and Yoda Cage, like the rest of the losses are pretty good. Definitely near the upper echelon of this tier, and yeah, I think that Sandstorm definitely could go up more. Sometimes bracket luck is a factor, but yeah, still pretty good. And then I have Sofilo, I never know how to pronounce it. Um, I think Sofilo could probably go up a tier, but is close. Definitely the top of this tier, could even go up one. But for now, I kind of have them at the top of this. Um, got some good wins. Has two beastly wins. I think that was an afterburner. Top eight at Genesis, pretty good. Wins on Elkies and Ion, which are good wins, but those are not as good of wins this season. So it's like, kind of depends on how much you want to weigh those wins. But still did very good. I think is a little bit behind the rest, but still really good. Big ups to Sofilo. I think probably around like that sixth place spot in the world. Not bad at all. And then this next tier, the top five, he got some heavy hitters. I mean, all five of these players had really good seasons. And like, yeah, Cake Assault normally is head and shoulders above the rest, but still really good. So I kind of ordered these. I don't really put too much weight on the order. I think it's pretty much a five-way tie. Like you could argue here and there a little bit, but let's go and get into it. So I have Beastly, the winner of Genesis. Didn't do great at other events. Did beat Rongunshu twice. Ant, ZB, Stango, Elkies, Toothbrush, Easy Potato, Hampolo. Like did good. Did lose to Sofilo twice at Afterburner. And has some losses here and there. Two to Cake, one to B-Bats, one to Rongunshu. I think that Beastly didn't have an easy Genesis run, but it looks less impressive than winning an event should be. Like, loser's bracket was crazy for Genesis. And BC was the top of the mountain, won the event, did well, but I think that Genesis could have been more potentially impactful. Kind of benefited from DQs. I like Beastly. Beastly's a good player. But I think when you look at like the steps to win, it wasn't as like it doesn't look as good. And the other events for Beastly didn't do quite as good as Beastly did at Genesis. So it's like, I mean, if you win Genesis, you're going to be one of the best of the year. That's just how it works for like every game. But I think that overall Beastly didn't have quite as strong of a season as the start with Genesis. Ant did not win any brackets, but had some crazy runs. Fourth at Let's Make Big Moves, third at Genesis, wins on Cake, Stango, twice B-Bats, Ion, ZB, Zeus to Goose, farming Sinbad in region. I think Sinbad got a set, but doing pretty good there. Losses are Cake, Beastly, and Rongunshu twice. I mean, everyone from this tier. So, one of the most consistent players we've seen, beating B-Bats twice and Cake. That's good. I think that in terms of number of wins, you could argue it's not as much as some other players. But, I mean, getting top four at these two majors is very good. And yeah, I think that Ant had a really strong season, putting ABSA on the map. I remember the days of Penguin in Rivals 1, and people weren't sure if ABSA was going to do it again, but Ant is making it happen. So good stuff to Ants. Cake, I have kind of like a soft third. 3 through 5, these are all really close, and they're not even that far from the top row either. I would probably say Cake is third. I don't know. It's close. It's really close. Cake has 2 Beastly wins, Ants, Rongunshu, and then also wins on the next tier, Sandstorm twice, Zeus to Goose, Toothbrush, Jupiter, etc. That Jupiter loss doesn't look as great. I mean, I think it makes Jupiter look better than it makes Cake look bad, but it's still like we're not used to that inconsistency from Cake all the time. Besides that Jupiter loss, only has losses to Ant, Rongunshu, and B-Bats. B-Bats being twice. B-Bats just randomly is like, okay, I'm gonna win an event over Cake this year, like at one point. That tends to happen occasionally, and we saw it this first quarter. But yeah, I think Cake winning Let's Make Big Moves, second at Super Fusion to B-Bats, fifth at Genesis, losing to Ants and Losers, that crazy off-stream set. Or like I think it was like a side stream, like someone, and I saw that, I was like, that was crazy. And so I think you could argue Cake to be, um, I don't know, it's close. I could see Cake being above certain players. It's kind of like a RPS situation with a lot of these guys. Um, like Ant has beaten B-Bats twice, but B-Bats has beaten Cake twice, and Rongunshu twice, and it's close. I think Rongunshu, speaking of, has had a really, really good season. Reminds me of Sonic's in Ultimate. Second at Let's Make Big Moves. Second at Sunset Melee. Second at Genesis X3. Second at what GB? I forget what that was. I think a smaller event. Maybe the one that Godly won. So it's like second at the biggest tournaments and seconds at Garden Brawl. I think it was Garden Brawl. But some of the smaller ones. So I think Ron Gunshu had a really strong season, getting a lot of really good wins. Does have those two Godly losses. Lost to Stango. That's kind of Stango's like only real good win right now. Ron Gunshu just entered a lot and did pretty well. I think that just because you don't have the one like winning the bracket, that doesn't mean you did bad. So I think Ranganshu, probably Ranganshu's best season to date in terms of a quarter. Um, I think an event win the second quarter could definitely push them to be number one. I don't know exactly, but yeah. So I think fittingly with all the second places, I have Ranganshu kind of in the second place tier, and then we have B Bats. Now I question this placing. I know I'm biased. Billy Bats, melee player. Also had a pretty good melee run at I think Sunset Melee. Did pretty good there. But I think like in terms of just sheer number of wins, like it depends on if you go by placings or wins. I went more based off of wins, and has two Cake wins, two Ranganshu wins. So when you look at that, I think that is really strong. Also a beastly win. Win on Sophilo, ZB, Jupiter, Hampolo, Animal, Maya, etc. Um, but I think in terms of like B-Bats entered a lot, got a lot of wins. Has a Sandstorm loss, which normally isn't that bad. I think this season is a little bit worse, but pretty consistent. Enters a lot. First at Sunset Melee, first at Super Fusion. So like probably the third and fourth most stacked events of the year. Won both of them. When BC won the biggest, Kekasot won the second biggest. So I think that kind of puts him in that conversation of best of the quarter so far. And yeah, getting seventh at Let's Make Big Moves was not great, but the losses he took, like I think he lost to Ant and Losers or something like that. Like that's not a bad loss. And getting what was it, fourth at Genesis, like that's still very good. So I would probably have V-Bats in first. That feels weird. I don't know. But I mean, these five, and then even Sofilo not far behind at six. Like it's been a cool season of Rivals, and I'm excited to see more. I know there's some stuff kind of like in quarter three. I don't know how stacked quarter two is going to be, because I know Battle of BC is later in the year compared to last year, and all that kind of stuff. I think almost in July again, but I'm excited. Whether it be quarter three being more like impactful than quarter two, probably with Supernova again. Either way, this year is very exciting, and yeah, I'm really interested to see how it shakes out, especially with Slade on the horizon. Seeing some of that tech stuff with Slade, with like a lot of the Young Link stuff, a pretty technical character in Melee, and now like with Shovel Knight Light and all these things, like with some Glide Toss, Infinite Recovery, that might get patched out. But Slade might like. I'm kind of glad because Slade comes out pretty soon, I think. And so if we have a little, because it was never, I think for Ultimate DLC, it was kind of weird when you had to play a patch back and you couldn't actually see a lot of what was happening. Remember, like with Hero and some of these other, like Joker, like it was sometimes like, okay, which patch do you do? And you want to see a character like being used, and you want to practice on the most recent patch, but like at the risk of something being super duper broken, you have to be careful. So I think if there's not as many events and we kind of like ease into it, see how the Slade meta develops, it'll be really interesting. I think that Lorena is popular, but not that good. So I think Galvan had a little bit more impact this past season, but Lorena is potentially a pretty good counter pick. I could see it being like, I mean, as a roster main, I would rather not play Lorena. I think like some things where you can maybe catch a light character and get some grappler kills early on. I'm not entirely sure of a good matchup spread, but I imagine Lorena could be a good counterpick character. Galvan, I think, is. I was talking to a few players that I knew from high school, and we agree that like Galvan has a really high potential ceiling, but there's just a lot of good stuff that like it reminds me of Kazuya in a way where it's like, okay, there's the hard stuff that you could do, or you could just not really risk it. I think Kazuya is more straightforward with the EWGF, Electric Wind on Fist, but Galvan I think has a lot of potential cool stuff. It reminds me of also Rob a little bit too. Like you could just do the classic Nair, like going for grab stuff, back air, whatever, or you could go for like some gyro toss, like anathema combos. So I want to see Galvan continue to advance with the meta and all that. See Mystery Soul and whoever else going Galvan. I think could be. I think Stango tried Galvan a little bit, but yeah, I want to see more. And I'm liking Rivals right now. I think it's really cool, and I'm very curious. Especially probably quarter 3 is going to be really popping. We'll see quarter 2. I'll make another video for quarter 2 in early July. So watch out for that. And yeah, fun stuff. Keep going, Rivals.